Hey everybody, I'm Mike Baird. If you're into drum stuff, or even if you're not into drum stuff, but you like a good story about the music business that I've been in, well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Mikes Drum Cubby. Welcome, Cubbers, to another episode of Mikes Drum Cubby, the channel I created for you, the Cubbers. Well, today we got a fantastic drum, the Tama brass piccolo. Man, did I use this drum a ton. Well, and as usual, we're going to talk about it, you're going to see it, we're going to go in the studio and you're going to hear it. You're going to watch me play it. And then we're going to guess the weight of the drum, and a little bit more of a story about the drum, and then a story about me in the music business. So stick around, and if you dig the channel, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, send a comment. Love to hear your comments. So without further delay, let's get to it. The Tama brass piccolo. This is a great drum, and I got this with my run when I was with Tama. As you can see, it has patina on it, and that's because the early ones, they didn't clear coat them. So they got kind of tarnished, with fingerprints and stuff like that. This lug that you see on there isn't the original lug either. It came with a round lug. The round lug had a sleeve in it, just like you see on these, except that sleeve was held in by a screw. And over time, that screw would come loose, and the whole tension rod and that cylinder would come right out of the lug. Anyway, so they wanted to replace this drum because they didn't like the patina look, and the lugs were bad, and so forth and so on. Anyway, my rep was trying to convince me, give up the drum, and I said, no, you're not having the drum back. I want this drum. They finally sent me the parts. I put the parts in, and then they offered to give me another drum because they just didn't like me using this with this kind of, patina on it. But anyway, I kind of won out on that one, and this is one, there's a great story at the end. So anyway, stay tuned. So here's the throw off, the lug, and the logo. Probably at the lowest. It really likes the upper tunes, but here you can tell me. Tuned up. That's the snares from the bottom. So here we go. Welcome back. Would anybody like to guess the weight of this drum? Hit it! £8, 1.3 ounces. Anybody guess it? Oh yeah, kitty. There's a nice kitty today. Nice kitty, yeah. Yeah, kitty. Whoa. Whoa. Hey. Back. Back. Jeez. Okay. So this drum, like I said, I got it. The lugs had a problem. I fixed the lugs on it. The drum's just a great drum. They wound up, like I said, the finish was unfinished, so that's why the fingerprints. They had given me two other drums that were pristine. They didn't sound like this one. I don't know if it was just the the coating on it, or, you know, the clear coat they put over the brass, or what it was, but they just didn't sound as good as this one. And I wound up kind of getting rid of one of those. You know, it's one of those things. My run with Tama was really interesting because they made me a custom kit once because I was going to tour with Billy Idol. It didn't wind up happening. I wound up getting too busy, whatever. I don't remember what exactly the reason was, but anyway, I wound up not turning it down. But anyway, I wanted a kit that was flat black, and I was going to go to Dean Jeffries, who was famous for flame paint jobs and pinstriping. And he made cars like for the Green Hornet, the movies and stuff like that, like a George Barris kind of guy. Anyway, I was going to have him do this flame job on this flat black paint. And they argued with me about that. No, I mean, it's flat black, and it wasn't an in thing like it is now. But back then it was like this, like they just didn't really want to do it. But they wound up doing it, and that kit sounded really great. And I don't know, I got rid of it at some point, which I probably should have kept it. It was a good sounding kit. In fact, I ran into somebody at some gig that I went to visit a friend of mine, and that guy had the kick drum and had a plaque with my name on it. It said Mike Baird, custom made for Mike Baird, you know, yada da da. And he was using the kick drum in his studio. Loved the kick drum. Anyway, that's just a little sidebar thing. Has nothing to do with this drum. It's just a little Tama thing. So now let's move forward to A Moment with Mike. Okay, so the story goes like this today. So one of the sessions I used this drum on, was for Richard Marx, an artist that probably a lot of you know who he is. And anyway, he was produced by David Cole, or they co-produced things. And David Cole was not only a great producer, but he was a great engineer. Anyway, so I get this phone call. They go down to A&M Studios, which is now Henson Studios. Jim Henson bought A&M Studios. And A&M Studios, before it was A&M Studios, before Jerry Moss and Herb Albert bought that studio, it was the Charlie Chaplin film studio, the silent movie star. Anyway, a little bit of history there, in case you don't know. Well, anyway, so at A&M, we're in the big room. Great. So I show up. They kind of play me a little bit. I go, okay, well, we'll do this. And I pick this piccolo. And literally, you know, I'm tuning it a little bit, tune the drums up just to tweak them. Literally 10 minutes, or maybe 15 drum sound. David was always fast at getting drum sounds. So anyway, we do the track. We do one take. And I hear on the talkback, okay, we're good. It's like, what? Yeah, we're good. Okay, what are we doing next? No, that's it. Satisfied. Richard Marx, Satisfied. Anyway, I'm on that album. This is the drum I used on that track, and it was a one-take wonder. And there you go. I filled out my forms and went home. And that was it. So that's our story for today. Well, we've come towards the end of another episode of Mikes Drum Cubby, and we hope you enjoyed this one. It was kind of a fun one for me. A lot of great memories and stuff like that regarding this drum. If you've got one of these drums, let me know. Send me a comment. Send me a comment if you dig the story. You know, I always like doing these stories with you cubbies. So anyway, when we get to the end, what do we usually say?
And that's it.
And we'll see you in a minute.
Yeah? What do you want?